allow me to start with a little bit of background about myself. Um, and along the way, I think I'll try and introduce the topic as well. The Art of Agile Banking, right? So, been in the Agile space for about 15 years now, but that is not where I started my professional career. Prior to being in the Agile space, I was working on robotic warehousing. I worked with Bose Audio Systems in their professional division with some sound engineering. And uh, for the past several years, after I moved into the Agile space, for the past several years, I've been working on enterprise-wide transformations with some of the top Fortune 500 companies. And while working in the transformations, I have worked with different executives and tried to understand their perspectives, work with the leaders in the companies, work with different teams, different departments in the organizations to understand what do they perceive about agile transformations. And surprisingly, all of them want something different from the transformation. And when you look at it from their vernacular, what they're expecting, it does make sense. I mean, even though they're expecting different things out of it, it still makes sense though. Um, I guess I can share a recent example of one of the conversations that I had with one of the business leaders at a bank. And she is in the process of implementing a multi-million dollar product for her organization. And we were talking about a very simple concept. It was the system demos, right? Her concern was around the fact that not a whole lot of value comes out of the system demos for the business stakeholders, especially in the part of the demo where teams dive into the technical details, like if they're talking about the data warehouses, if they're talking about the API services, or if they're talking about any of the integration details, right? Business folks generally don't understand those kind of details, and she felt, or her comment was, that this is sort of a waste of time for her and for her team, right? Now, if you look at it from just her perspective, it does make sense. I mean, she's right that a lot of these technical details, they don't have that technical know-how. So for them to understand or grasp these concepts and be participative in that session, in the technical discussions, well, that is, of course, I mean, it's difficult for them, right? But then the fact is that it is difficult only until it impacts them, right? When it impacts them, then that's when they want to get involved. And this is what I believe a lot of times business folks don't understand, for example, right? The impact of their actions, their simple actions on the rest of the programs and rest of the organization, right? I mean, it's a simple thing for not attending a demo, but when you don't, like, how does it impact the rest of the teams, the people on the rest of the people, right? So if business folks drop off during the demo, well, what's going to happen? How will that impact the technical folks? How would they feel, right? End of the day, these technical folks are working on satisfying the business's intent, right? They're working for the business. So I personally wouldn't feel good about it if they drop off on when I'm trying to explain the details to them, right? And what if there is a technical feasibility concern and it impacts the product design, right? In that case, well, what happens then? Or if it's vice versa, right? Either case, well, they need to be there, right? They should be there, at least in my opinion. And when I discussed these pointers with her, I believe it did change her understanding and her perspective around the simple concept of system demos. Now, at times, I believe that is all that is needed to empathize with them and to have an honest and open conversation with the leaders, right? So today, in the next 45 minutes or so, what I'll try to do is talk about the impacts of these simple perspectives that are there in the organizations, and especially when they're scaled up, how it affects the overall transformation, especially in the context of financial and the banking industry, right? One more thing actually. Before I dive into it, Sarah is here, and she's my partner in crime, and I believe she'll be helping me with the questions that you'll be posting in the chat section. And Sarah, just feel free to stop me or pause me whenever you feel there's an important question in the chat box, right?
Absolutely. Right. Yep.
Thank you for being here. It's good to have you. Okay, so today, let me see. Actually, oh, what happened to the slides? I'm not able to move it forward. Oh, because I'm in Zoom. Okay, there it is. 1 second, let me test that. Okay, it does work. All right, perfect. So the art of agile banking, that's the topic, right? So today, what we'll be covering at a high level is that we'll take a peek into my experience when, while I've been working on these transformations in the banking industry. Excuse me. And we'll talk about some of the common challenges, the pain points, the hurdles we have observed in those transformational journeys. And we'll also talk about what different techniques can be employed or that I have employed and have found success or have failed in those techniques, right? So I'll try and share all this like failures and successes that I've had. So the outcomes that I've gotten out of those techniques, right?